Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Grant. So for today's video, my friend actually gave me the suggestion for doing my top 5 favorite movies, which I thought was brilliant because what better way for you guys to get to know me than understanding what my 5 favorite movies are and why. So let's just jump right into the video. So coming in at number 5 is the film Weekend. And Weekend is directed by Andrew Hai. It came out in 2011 and that film is starring Tom Cullen and Chris New. It is a British film and it's about these two men who meet each other in a nightclub and it follows their romantic relationship over the course of one weekend. It's a very simple concept, however, it is absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, it's not on Netflix anymore because Netflix is the first place that I saw it. It was so good I had to buy it. It is so amazing. And I find it to be very near and dear to my heart since I am gay. I did come out to my family my senior year of high school, and I came out to everyone else my freshman year of college, and I did watch it in my first year of college. So the whole openly gay thing was very new to me, and I really loved this movie due to the fact that it was probably the first film that I saw that depicted a gay relationship in the most modern real life way. I'm telling you guys, it is astounding. It's beautifully shot. The acting is amazing. Andrew Hai did a great job at giving us something that you can relate to. One thing that I find this movie to be is universal, and I mean that by anyone on the LGBTQIA plus spectrum. You don't even have to be on that spectrum, you could be straight. I feel like anyone can relate to some parts of this movie, and I love that. Let that be insecurities about yourself. Things in the past make you apprehensive to opening up to another person in such a vulnerable yet romantic way. It's just across the board, it is so good, and I highly recommend you guys to watch it. So coming in at number 4 would be the film It Follows, and It Follows was directed by David Robert Mitchell. It came out in 2015, and it's more so in the horror thriller genre, unlike the last film that was a romance. So It Follows stars Maika Monroe, I believe I pronounced her name right. However, it is about this girl, Maika Monroe, and she's in this relationship with this guy, and they have sex in his car, and turns out he has this sexually transmitted curse. And this curse, if you have it, you have this being. It can look like someone you know, it can look like a complete stranger. No matter where you are in the world, they are walking towards you. And you basically have to get away from it. And if that being gets to you, it kills you. And if it kills you, then it goes back to the person you got the curse from, and then back down the line. It is absolutely crazy. However, what I really like about this movie is the ambiguity of time that the film takes place in. It's like an ode to the 80s. It's a very interesting techno soundtrack. However, it is extremely interesting. The cinematography is absolutely amazing. It does some really interesting camera movements that I appreciate. And I think that it's not really a scary movie, it's more so a psychological thriller in my opinion. It Follows does a very good job at planning the question of what would you do in this situation, which I think is probably the most terrifying part. It's so good. It's very well acted yet again. The direction of it is very interesting because it's unlike any other movie that I have seen myself. So if you're looking for a really good psychological thriller, definitely give this one a shot because it is worth your time. So coming in at number 3 would be Parasite, which I know that a lot of you are aware of Parasite. If you haven't watched it, then you've at least heard about it. It won Best Picture at the 2020 Oscars this year. It is a Korean film directed by Bong Joon-ho. If you're not aware of what it's about, it follows this poor family, the Kim family, and it also follows this very rich family, the Park family. And it's a social satire on the class system in South Korea. So this poor family infiltrates the rich family by becoming tutors, housekeeper, chauffeur, and just the way that it's done is so perfect. You think you're watching a drama until it turns into something else about halfway through the movie. Something that I believe anyone who watches the movie did not see coming. It's funny in parts, it's dramatic in parts, it's sometimes nail-biting in parts. It is so good. And I'm so glad that it won Best Picture, since it is the first movie ever that is not in the English language to win Best Picture. I am so proud of everyone, especially Bong Joon-ho, just because I love a lot of his movies that he has done. After I watched Parasite, I could probably not stop thinking about it for maybe about a week after, just because of how gorgeous the movie is. It is so good, and if you haven't seen it, what in the world are you doing? So, number two. Number two is Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher. David Fincher is one of my favorite directors ever, just because I love his style, I love what he does. I love how he makes us become a part of the characters, if that makes any sense. If you are an avid Fincher watcher like I am, then you should understand what I'm talking about. But Gone Girl was released in 2014. It stars Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike. It is based on the book Gone Girl, written by Gillian Flynn. So one thing I love about Gone Girl was that Gillian Flynn was actually the screenwriter for the movie, to make it even more her own, which I really, really do appreciate. I'm glad David Fincher did that. So the film opens up on this couple during their 5th wedding anniversary, and the wife goes missing. And that is all I'm going to say. If you have watched Gone Girl, I'm sure you were thrown in multiple loops, just like I was in the theater going to watch it whenever it came out at the time. There are multiple things I adore about this movie. Not only is the acting incredible, Rosamund Pike did a phenomenal job in playing her role as Amy, and Ben Affleck also did a very good job at playing his role as Nick. What I love is that every twist that comes our way is so unexpected and it's so well done. I love the flashbacks, because I read the book. I love how it still keeps the style of the novel, in the sense where in the novel each chapter goes from Nick's point of view, the next chapter is Amy's point of view, then it goes back to Nick, and then Amy, and so on and so forth. And the film does exactly that. One thing that kind of defines David Fincher is the camera work. Even though he's not the cinematographer, he does have the cinematographer move the camera along with the characters. So even if they're doing a slight movement like this, the camera moves back and forth with that same movement. And I've watched a couple YouTube videos on here kind of describing his style and why he does it, and it's because he wants the camera to develop the same behavior as the character. And so the way that he weaves that in and out is just, it's beautiful. Every time I watch this movie, it just does not get old. And that's one thing that I really do appreciate. And honestly, out of all these movies on this list, every time you watch it, the more you watch it, it doesn't get old. It just becomes more exciting. If you're a fan of David Fincher, if you're a fan of kind of like the clean, gritty sort of style, which actually he directed Seven, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Panic Room, Fight Club, things along the lines of those movies. If you're a fan of them, definitely give Gone Girl a shot if you haven't watched it. And hey, give the book a read if you want to as well, because it's definitely worth your time. But yeah, that's my second favorite film. So, coming in at my number one all-time favorite movie so far. Keep in mind, this entire list is as of right now. If there are better movies that come out in the future, I may be updating this list. However, coming in at number one is Titanic. Now, don't laugh at me here. I know some people think that this movie is overrated, it's over talked about, but I love this movie. Coming out at a whopping 3 hours and 15 minutes. It is a 3 hours and 15 minutes I will watch through and through, no doubt. Anytime it comes on TV, I click it. If I just feel like it, I'll watch it. It is so good. Most of you all know, obviously it stars Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, directed by James Cameron. It came out my birth year, so that's another attachment that I have to it, coming out in 1997. If you live under a rock, or if you are just completely oblivious to the world, Titanic follows the true events of the Titanic ship sailing from the United Kingdom all the way to the United States in 1912. It hits an iceberg and it sinks. And that's the overlining story that it follows. However, it follows the untrue events of this woman Rose, played by Kate Winslet, and this guy Jack, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's their love story. It is another romance, but hey, it is half of the movie is romance, half of the movie is a disaster movie, so what else could we ask for in a film? You know what I mean? On a serious note, it has an amazing cast, shot incredibly, and it'll also make you cry your eyes out. I'm used to it at this point, however, if you are a new watcher, you may cry your eyes out due to some pretty heavy events that happen in the later part of the film. I love this movie so much because I love the story that it tells. I think that in '97, even though that's only 23 years ago, what films can do now is much different than what they could do in the 90s. And so James Cameron did an amazing job at making things look as real as possible. I think to this day, it is the most awarded film at the Oscars ever, which, yet again, deservedly so, due to the fact that the costumes, the special effects, the music, I mean, hey, how many movies have Celine Dion singing the main song of the movie, My Heart Will Go On? It's just everything. This movie in a nutshell is just perfection, in my opinion. I grew up with this movie. I think like my first time watching the film, I had to be maybe around like 5 or 6. And ever since then, it's just clung on to my heart, and it reminds me of my childhood. And so I feel like that's another reason why I love this movie so much. If you have watched it, amazing. If you have not seen it, definitely give it a shot. But yeah, that's why I love Titanic so much. Alrighty guys, so that is my list. Let me know in the comments what your lists are. If you like any of the movies, if your lists are similar to my list, that's amazing. Hey, we can bond over that. Make sure you give my video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell if you want to, and leave a comment if you feel like it. That's my top 5 favorite movies. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. See you guys.